Hello. Live. Hi. I'm like right on the edge, right in your face, aren't I? I'm there's zooming issues. My name is Jason Linville, Dr. Linville. This is an introduction video for JS110, Introduction to Forensic Science, on an online course that's offered in the spring of 2015. I try to make a new welcome video every semester for the online students. Number one, to make you not feel like you're talking to a robot that existed 2 semesters ago, but also there's minor changes to the course each semester, so I always like to keep those updated. If you care, which you probably don't, I'm recording this on Google Hangouts, which is not where we're going to have our quote live courses, which I'll talk about in a little bit later. But I do some screen sharing here, and I find that it works a lot better than what we used to use, Blackboard Collaborate, and the new classroom software that we're using this semester, GoToTraining. I haven't gotten to play around with yet to know its limitations. So if you're wondering why am I on YouTube, that's the reason. Okay, what I hope to accomplish in this video is just sort of cover, I asked you to read the syllabus. Nobody likes to read the syllabus. So I asked you to read that introduction email that I sent you. Some people are okay because it tells you what you have to do, so it's important. This video is sort of another option where I'm going to cover all of those things, and sometimes reading through material can get a little bit dry and it may not be as clear as it can be. So hopefully this video is just another approach to help you guys out. And plus you get to see my face so you know who I am. So I don't know, sometimes that's a benefit. And that's one thing that I don't like about online classes is that I get to interact with you guys through emails and stuff like that. And for your projects, several of you will stop by my office later in the semester, so we'll get to meet that way. But it's the but I don't I'm teaching JS352. In the on-campus version of this course, I waste a lot more time than I'm wasting right now. But I promise I'll get to the course here. In 352, of course, I'm teaching. All of those students took JS110, but a lot of them took them online, and I recognize their names, but I don't recognize their faces. But it's still, there's something to be said for convenience of online courses. And they should be a lot better, but eventually we'll get there. Okay, so let's see. I have my notes here. Introduce yourself. Okay, so I'm Dr. Linville. I'm a professor in the Department of Justice Sciences. If you're a criminal justice major, which a lot of students who take this course are, you'll know that we have an undergraduate program in criminal justice. But then what you might not know is we have 2 graduate programs, one in forensic science and one in criminal justice, 2 master's programs. And it's kind of unusual in that the master's in forensic science, we're really geared more towards chemistry and biology majors and preparing them to gain employment in forensic science labs upon their finishing the program. So we actually can only accept into the Master's in Forensic Science program, we can only accept students with a chemistry and biology background. We can't accept students with a criminal justice major. But that's part of the purpose of this course, is to describe the career options in forensic science, because you say forensic science and you think, a large number of things. But part of the reason of this course, which I probably go over this in the first video talking about education or evidence or whatever. So I'll hold off on that. But the point is, I'm in the forensic science program, so my background is in chemistry and biology. But if any criminal justice students or biology chemistry students have questions about career opportunities in the forensic science field, whatever that may be, medical examiner, crime scene investigator, drug chemist in a lab, talk to me and I'll try to help you out, because I do have experience talking to students, talking to professionals, and it's not like other fields. It can get complicated as far as what you need to do to get the job that you want. Okay, so that's who I am, a chemist / biologist. My specialty now is forensic DNA analysis. And if you read the little blurb about me online, I'm at home right now because I didn't want to take the microphone into work in the webcam, but my connection is lousy, so hopefully that doesn't affect the audio quality too much. When I give a live lecture later this semester if you want to attend. This is probably the room. And if you're watching the recorded lectures, you'll probably recognize this is the room where I do the lectures. It was a dining room, then it was a second bedroom, and now we're getting ready to move, hopefully sometime within the next 6 months. So it's a junk room. Here, you want to see my junk? There we go. Huggies. Yeah, and I have a kid, as you can tell from the Huggies. Those are not my Huggies. I would probably be more of a 6 as opposed to a 4. But anyhow, luckily I don't have to deal with that. One of the classes I've already had this semester, I just talked about how old I'm getting and how I didn't, but I'm not going to waste your time with that. Enough about me. Let's get into the course. So what I'm going to do now that you're sick of my gigantic face that I can't, this is the only, if I zoom out, then I'm too far away from the microphone. So you have to deal with my gigantic face. What we're going to do now is we're going to jump into the course, which I tested earlier and it was working. And then obviously whenever I try to do it again, it doesn't work. All right, so give me a second and then you should eventually see, hopefully now you're seeing what I'm seeing, and I'm seeing it twice. So I need to make sure that I don't put the mouse on the wrong screen. This is what happens when you come to the Canvas site. Okay, so I'm not going to bore with you. Click on login to Canvas. It opens up another window, and then you type in your login information, and here you are. So hopefully with all of your courses, and for you guys, you've already found the course, so I don't necessarily have to go through all of these steps, but this is hopefully what you did to find this course. Okay, and then you open up the course. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down the menu here and sort of, in going over all these menu options, we're going to go over what you're supposed to do from week to week, how you submit assignments, how you submit quizzes, exams, you know, how you demonstrate that you're meeting the learning objectives. I'm doing something extra here because my teacher view, instructor view is a little bit different from what you guys see. And when I go through this demonstration, I want to go through what you see. Okay. So now, hopefully, we are looking at an identical screen as to what you see when you log on to the course. Okay, the home, this is pretty good. Different courses may have this home screen set to different things. I kind of like the default, well, maybe this isn't the default, but the syllabus view where it gives you everything you have to do in the deadlines, okay? And for this course, this is pretty much it, where you have 4 assignments. We can see them here when the deadlines are. We have 4 quizzes. We can see them here. And we have 2 exams. The exams are in 2 parts. I'll explain what that means later. We have our announcements tab, which right now just has the Welcome to JS110, which covers very similar information to what I'm talking about right now. But if technical issues happen, and I hear from students and I want to see if anybody else is having a problem, or if I send out reminders, just general announcements about the course, these are where this announcements will be. And also Canvas is set up to where I think you get a notification and an email and a text and all of this stuff if I happen to send out announcements. So I'll try to keep them to a minimum. So it's not the boy who cried wolf, except in this case, the boy who cried announcements. Okay, this video will be posted today, hopefully, unless something, I'm not even going to say, I've had bad experience this semester with complimenting things and then having that compliment go immediately awry. So I'm not going to predict things, and I knock on wood anyway, but hopefully this video will replace this link later today. All right. The syllabus, again, the syllabus, similar to the welcome announcement, summarizes what I'm talking about today. So I'm not going to show too much of the syllabus, and I recommend you download it, but if I did that, it would go into a window where we can't screen share, or it would be more difficult to screen share. So all of this stuff, the 2 things that I wanted to talk about in the syllabus are, number 1, the textbook. Everybody always asks, Dr. Linville, do I have to buy a textbook? And I say, oh, yes. And then they look around. So nobody's listening. Dr. Linville, do I really have to buy the textbook? I think it's a good idea. If you're planning on going into investigations or becoming an attorney, this forensic science textbook is a really good reference book to have. For the course, if you're just using it for the course, I think it's really good to read along in the chapters in addition to listening to the lectures. I know you don't have infinite time or anything like that, but I think if you prepare and study properly for the course and you want to understand the material to the best of your capabilities, it's not just, listening to what I'm saying. And if you're studying, and looking through the PowerPoint slides, a lot of time the slide on its own doesn't really make a lot of sense. And maybe you've scribbled some notes on there, but you're having trouble reading your handwriting. Getting the same information from a different perspective, meaning the textbook, I think really helps. And I try to parallel the textbook to the best of my ability. There have been minor changes in the textbook, and I'm trying to keep up with the lectures. But am I going to ask you a question, not talk about it in any of the lectures, and then say, well, it was in the textbook, you should have known it? No, I'm not going to do that. But I really think the textbook helps. The textbook is newer. It's used in a lot of forensic science courses. Which is good for you. So in other words, if you want to buy it and resell it, you're going to be able to resell it. And also, it's been out for a little while. I don't like to adopt textbooks as soon as they come out, so you should be able to find used copies as well. We had a contest in the on-campus course. Somebody got it for 33 bucks. Okay, so if you can beat that price, congratulations. But that's just buying it and then not even selling it back at the end of the semester. If somebody gave you a second or third edition for free, you could probably get away from using it. But a lot of editions, there's not much changes. And between 2 and 3, there wasn't much changes. But they actually, in this textbook, they made some good changes from the 3rd to 4th edition. For example, they used to have 4 chapters on forensic psychology that were random and all over the place. They've condensed that into 1. So a lot of these changes, I think, makes it a little bit easier. So if it's like a difference between $10 between the 3rd edition and the 4th edition, go with the 4th edition. I think it's going to be worth it. Okay, and then the second thing, or the last thing in the syllabus, is I just want to point out, if you want to print out a schedule and have it in a folder or something, yeah, you can print out the whole syllabus if you want to. But this sort of summarizes what your responsibilities are for each week. I need to watch a video, I need to watch 2 lectures, and I need to take a quiz, which is a practice quiz that doesn't count for a grade, but that's what I need to do this week. Okay, next week, which begins on a Tuesday and ends on the following Monday. So again, I have the weekend to complete this. I need to watch 1 lecture, and I need to complete assignment. Okay, so this, summarizes a little bit. It's also summarized here in modules, which we'll jump to next. Or actually, I guess modules were already in modules. But, those are the 2 important things in the syllabus. Okay, so you can see the syllabus is paralleled here, where each week, which usually begins on a Tuesday, although here it begins on a Monday and ends on a Monday. Martin Luther King Day, we begin on a Tuesday and we end on a Tuesday and then begin on a Wednesday. But for the most part, the weeks begin on a Tuesday and then end on a Monday, unless the Monday is a holiday. And that's because you can start out in the week with the material. You have the weekend to sort of catch up. If you're taking this online course because you have a Monday through Friday work schedule, then some students prefer the weekend to sort of catch up. And then boom, on Monday is when the assignment due, or is going to be when you take the quiz. Okay, so that's how the weeks run. So if you notice, okay, each year I need to watch 2 lectures this week, and I need to take this quiz, which is a practice quiz, and I'll get to the quizzes later. But if I click on this lecture link, I want you to see what you're going to be seeing in case there's any confusion here. All right, there's a PDF, which is essentially the slides that are used in the lecture, just like in class, that you can print this out and you can take notes on it, which is what I recommend, but everybody's study method is a little bit different. This is the video. So what I recommend doing is printing this out and then watching this video. Okay, it's an MP4 video, so you should be able to download it. I've tried to take out the links. Sometimes when you clicked on this, it played it in an embedded player, and I was getting a lot of emails that the embedded player was screwing up for people because they didn't have Flash or all of this weird stuff. Java updates, I think, was a problem with a lot of it. But if you just click on this and download it, then you can play it in Windows Player. Wait, what is it called? Yeah, Windows Media Player, or any other type, VLC player, any other type of player that you want to play it in. So I find that it's best just to sort of download this. You don't have to do anything with the MP3 file. The reason this is here is if you do like to listen to lectures in your car, the audio quality on these MP4s when I was using Collaborate to record them is just god awful because it's uploaded. We're in America. We have terrible upload speeds. The compression is awful. So what I do is I record it as I'm giving a lecture. I'll also record the audio on the computer I'm giving the lecture on. And then it's the same exact audio that is in here. It's just of a much better quality. I'm not a total audio buff or anything, but the audio in the MP4, and I apologize for this, and I've complained about it, but it's garbage. All right. And it shouldn't be garbage in online courses, and the software should be better. But hey, guess what? Collaborate is out and the new go-to training is in. So we'll see if the audio, and I work with the go-to training, when they were doing the preview, and it's still garbage audio, and it was in a demonstration. And so I asked the people at Citrix, I'm like, your audio is garbage. What's the deal with that? And he was like, yeah, we're trying to fix it. So I don't know, maybe it'll get better over time, but we'll see how that goes. Okay, so most students won't do anything with the MP3 video. All right, I know you're tempted. Some students are tempted to go through and print out all the PDF files and not watch all the videos, but maybe download them or something. I will be making some minor changes to the future modules, and when I say minor changes, like I may rearrange some slides or format them so they look a little bit better, because a lot of these are older and really ugly, and I don't like the way they look. But the content is essentially the same. So no matter what version of the video you're watching, as long as you're watching a crime scene investigation video, you should be good as far as meeting the learning objectives that I'm trying to accomplish in the lecture. Okay, and you also notice that after the first exam, obviously the course doesn't end on the 23rd. So as I'm making changes to those, and as we get closer to February, the rest of these will populate. Okay. So every week, okay, I have to watch 2 lectures, take the practice. Next week, I just have to watch 1 lecture and complete an assignment. Okay, we can see down here on the 27th, I have to watch a lecture. I don't have to do a quiz or an assignment or anything. Don't say, oh, I have nothing to do. Keep up to date with these lectures and taking your notes. It's an online course, and from my experience, take the time. Each of these lectures are about an hour. Take the time to figure out when you're going to watch them. Don't just run them in the background while you're doing dishes or, feeding your kid or playing a game on your game box. I can't. While you play Mario Kart, it shows you where I am. Sort of sit down and really treat it like you're in a course. It helps out a lot. I mean, a lot of students, they get to the quizzes and they get to the exams and they have all their PDF notes because it is open notes, and they think, oh, I'll just look up all the answers as they go along. And don't do the course that way. It's difficult, and there's time limits on the quizzes, so unfortunately, just looking up the answers is not an option. And plus, you want to get something out of this course. And I'll spare you the 15-minute discussion that I had in my on-campus course of where we talked about the purpose of going to college. And it's, well, I won't even start because it's dangerous and it's unfair for you guys as far as go to college and then your life will be fine. And you're like, I can't afford to go. Oh, here's a bunch of money. Go to college and your life will be fine. And then you get out of college and it's not fine. You owe a bunch of money and you went to college, but it turns out that you didn't choose the right degree for the career that you want to accomplish. And, and then life stinks. But most of the time, with a little planning, you go to college and your life is fine afterwards. For me, that's how it happened. I went to college and then life was fine afterwards. Okay, so these are the modules. It tells you what to do each week. Okay, let's say you do have, we're going to go to the assignment tab here. Let's say you do have a assignment or a quiz that's due in a given week. I'm going to talk about assignments first. Okay, in order to complete assignment, you click on the link. there are directions on how to complete the assignment, and then you submit it. There's also, because I use a rubric and I can't figure out exactly how to hide this rubric, but I don't care, because this just tells you how I'm going to grade it. So you can actually look and see how I'm going to grade it. When I look at your assignment, I click, oh, did they do 5 points worth of work or 4 points worth of work on all of these different things? Okay. So you don't have to focus on that too much. It's not required. But if you read the directions and complete the assignment, you should be in good shape. For me, this submit assignment, okay, it threw me into complete chaos, because in Blackboard Learn, everything was right down here. And I'm like, how do I submit the assignment if I'm a student and I'm talking to myself out loud in my house? And it turns out it's hidden up here. So this is what you do. You click the submit assignment, and then like magic, I don't know, something happens. You click submit assignment, and then as we can see, nothing's happening. Maybe because I'm not a student, it's not working or something. So I'm going to assume when you click submit assignment, the magic happens. Yeah, something weird. Okay, maybe it's trying to open up another window or something like that. If you're clicking submit assignment and it's not working, let me know and we'll try to figure out what the heck's happening. Okay, so those are for the assignments. One of the assignments is posting on a discussion board, so it'll take you to a discussion board. Okay, don't be confused. It's still the same thing. Just read the assignment, follow the directions, and then you'll be okay. The assignment project, we'll talk about that a little bit more later in the semester. And it's where you get with a partner and you actually do something outside of class, and you submit it. But all these other ones you can just do in the comfort of your own home. Okay, what about quizzes? Assignments. I have a late policy on assignments that's in the syllabus, so just read the late policy. Basically, if you miss a deadline for assignment, you can still turn it in. You just get penalty points assessed. And the longer you wait, the more penalty points you get assessed. For the quizzes, they're going to be multiple choice. If you look at the release dates, not available until, you're going to notice that you can't take the quiz at any time you want. Okay, we have the week, and then the quiz is offered at the end of the week, which in this case is on a Monday after you have the weekend to study and prepare. So anytime on Monday, and it used to be from noon to midnight to give me Monday morning to make sure the quiz looked okay. I may have changed that to where it's open up Monday at 12:01 a.m. or immediately on Monday, but just be aware for a lot of these, they might not be open until 10 a.m. or noon. If you do, if your schedule is where you want to wake up, take it Monday morning because you have to go to work at noon and work all evening, let me know and I'll try to make arrangements to open these up early. Okay, for the quizzes, if you click on the quiz before that Monday, you're going to get a message like quiz not available or something like that. But if you click on the quiz during the time frame it's available, then it's going to take you to the quiz. And if you've never taken an online quiz before, that's the point of the practice quiz that you're going to take this week. You're going to experience what it's like. Now, let me tell you guys about how I have these quizzes set up, because there are two types of quizzes and they're set up a little bit differently. Okay, notice that quizzes 1 and 3 are normal. Quizzes 2 and 4 are mock case. Okay, quiz 1 and 3. When you take these quizzes, it's going to be 15 multiple choice questions, but in order to prevent students from either cheating or just looking up the answer or one of these other things, not everybody gets the same questions in the same order, so I'll tell you that up front. Also, you only get the questions one at a time, and you can't go back. I know a lot of students don't like that, but it's one thing that we have to do in an online course to help sort of level the playing field. I mean, it is open notes, okay, which some students in the on-campus course would say, oh, that's not fair. They can use their notes. But it's where you can't just have your notes in front of you, take infinite time, and look up all the answers, like we do when we take occupational health and safety training at UAB as faculty members. I did not just say that, okay? But I had to take one the other day, and it's actually, I did it properly where I watched the entire thing and answered the questions, and they weren't too difficult, so I knew them. Anyhow, so prepare for these quizzes. Even though you can use your notes, prepare for them the same way you would prepare if you had to take it in class without your notes. Now, if you have your notes well organized, then you can read a question, answer what you think it is, and then just leaf through your notes and confirm it if you want. But it's not going to be where you can answer all your questions and then go back and double check them in your notes. Okay, so you sort of have to know the answer going in. Otherwise, you're going to run out of time. 15 questions, I think it's 15 minutes. So a full minute on a question is a pretty good amount of time to read it and answer it, but it's not going to be enough time for you to look up the answers in your notes if you have no idea what the answer is. Okay, so that's quizzes 1 and 3. You have to answer them one at a time, and you can't go back after you answer it. It's saved. For the mock case questions, you have 2 hours. As far as I'm concerned, you could take 7 hours on these mock case quizzes. I give you a story problem where you can't really look up the answer in your notes, but it's about different types of analysis. For example, when in the first one, I'll probably have something about blood. So I'll say, you're a forensic scientist in the lab. You receive a red stain marked evidence A. You perform a TMB test on it. You had TMB, nothing happens. You had hydrogen peroxide, and it turns blue. What is your conclusion? Well, you really need to go through the lecture to know, because the answers are not just, is it blood or it's not blood? Okay, because as we're going to learn in this class, there's more than just those 2 answers. It could be, this is definitely blood. It could be, this is definitely not blood. It could be, this might be blood because other things also change blue. Or it can say, this might be blood because even though it's supposed to turn green, sometimes if blood is mixed with saliva, it turns blue instead. So which is the correct answer? Well, hopefully right now you're not sure what the correct answer is, but hopefully after you sit through the lecture and take some notes and read the chapter, then that becomes obvious for you. Because one of the points of this course is to understand the limitations of analysis. On TV, they send it into the lab. Here we found this, looks like a big, thick piece of chip pink paint. And it goes into the lab, and the lab comes back. This is a fingernail with Revlon Hot Pink 747 is the example I'm using this semester on it. And it's sold in the CVS's around Jerry's Strip Club. Okay. And then in CSI, they always need an excuse to go to the strip club. So then they go, and it's, and it's a terrible episode. Okay. So those are the type of questions, excluding anything to do with stripper. And that reminds me, I actually had one question that involves the Alabama Board of Trustees that I need to change this semester because it may be read the wrong way. I made that question way before the whole football debacle last semester, but I'll need to change that. Let's just say that I imply the Board of Trustees were taking hallucinogenic mushrooms. Okay, but that was not my intent. At the time I wrote that question, it was just mildly humorous. Now it may seem like a mean-spirited snipe at a group of people who I'm sure have UAB's best interests at heart. Okay, let's see here. We are, so those are the 2 types of quizzes. For the exam, part 1 is going to be just like quiz 1 at a time, multiple choice. Exam part 2 is going to be like the mock cases. Okay, I think you get like 10 of them on the exam. Okay. For the quizzes, the quizzes, look in the syllabus, they tell you what they cover. It's usually covers everything since the last quiz. All of the mock cases, will cover everything up to quiz 2 because the questions are different than quiz 1. But if you just, in exam 1 covers the first half of the course, exam 2, notice it doesn't say final exam here, covers the second half of the course. Okay. All right. Technical problems. Okay. Oh, there's an unofficial late policy on the quizzes. The official policy is if you miss a quiz, tough. You don't get any points. But a 0 can really hurt your grade in the course. So for quizzes, I do allow makeups, but the penalty is kind of severe for a makeup, depending on the situation. The rule of thumb is if you tell me that you are going to miss a quiz before you miss the quiz or the day of the quiz, then I'm much more lenient on allowing a makeup as opposed to if you contact me at the end of semester and say, I think I took quiz 2, but I don't have a grade for it. Okay, you didn't take quiz 2 if you don't have a, I mean, I can look it up to see, make sure that it was submitted, but you know, Canvas does a very good job of keeping track of when you logged in and what your activity was on the thing. I can't see everything that you're doing, but general, I can tell if you logged in on the day that the quiz was being taken. So take all the quizzes on time, I guess is the short end of that story. What was I gonna, oh, immediately after you take the quiz, and this is difficult for me because my student view can't replicate this. So I just know from talking to other students, after you take the quiz, I think you're shown the questions that you got wrong, but you're not shown what the correct answer is. And then on Wednesday following the quiz, 24 hours after, I release all the correct answers so you can actually go in and see what all of the questions were, what you answered, and what the correct answers are. I do that so individuals who do have to make up the quiz, they sort of have that Tuesday to make it up, to where I can't accuse them of, you know, just having their friend look up all the correct answers and give it to them. And even so, they may get slightly different questions than their friend. So that approach, well, that approach shouldn't be attempted. Let me just leave it at that. I mean, we're here to learn. That's just, especially in an online environment. You know, it's I guess it's open a little bit more than on campus to cheating. I mean, if you make an effort, you can cheat no matter where. But the whole point is that if nobody makes an effort to cheat and does it honestly, it just is better for everybody. Cheating is such a selfish thing to do because you think, oh, it's just one person and it doesn't, but it does. It affects everybody. You know, it's like individuals say, well, I don't vote because one vote doesn't matter. Well, it's the attitude that one vote doesn't matter that affects everybody. Okay. All right. So enough preaching about assignments and quizzes. And okay. So let me finish with technical problem. This relates to makeups. Canvas, I've been using it 2 semesters and it's still a little bit more difficult for me to figure out than Blackboard Learn on quizzes. And I think if you get thrown offline during a quiz, I think you can go back and re-enter the quiz. Now, unfortunately, the timer's still running. So you have 15 minutes to take quiz 1. You get thrown out after 10 minutes. You come back, you're already late. It's a late submission. Okay, and you still have 5 more questions to answer. If you get thrown off, just come back in, keep a reasonable amount of time. You go, if you understand that, well, I think I had about 5 more minutes left, and then just finish the quiz and submit it. Okay, it's going to say you submitted this late, and it may give you a terrible, your instructor is going to find you and embarrass you for being such a terrible person for submitting the quiz late. But no, I'm not going to do that. If you submit the quiz late, then send me an email, say I got thrown offline. And usually when I go in and look at the timing and the answers and all that stuff, it matches your story as far as you got thrown offline and then you came back on and finished the quiz. Okay. And then all I have to do is say, you know, yeah, I know it was late, but submit the grade anyway. You might not get immediate feedback if you submit it late, but once I go in and click the button, then it's just like a normal quiz. Okay. In some cases, it's where the student can't get back for the quiz, so I have to reset it or give them a second attempt. Again, if you experience technical difficulties, just try to let me know as soon as possible. Be careful. Well, I don't know. And then there's just some strange problems that I still don't know what's happened in the quizzes. So just sort of keep your eye on the quizzes and let me know if you experience any technical problems. Okay, moving on to the virtual classroom. What I like to do is every week, see, this is obviously, I don't know if you're going to see this or something different, but this is new this semester. For the virtual classroom, once I start to set them up, what I like to do is once a week, which this semester it is going to be less than once a week, and maybe once every couple weeks or so. I like to sit down in my house like I am now and record one of the lectures. And the students have options of attending, online. So in your house, you log in and we're all in the same session. And I'm giving the lecture and I can ask questions and you can respond in the chat box. So it's more like an on-campus environment in the classroom. In previous semesters, I've required every student to attend at least one live session. So I had some students in the chat room that we could converse. Since I'm using GoToTraining, since I've already had some issues with it, and since this semester my schedule is kind of unusual, I'm not requiring anybody to attend these live sessions. Okay, but I'll let you know when I'm going to record a live session, and if you do want to attend, I would appreciate it because I like having people there when I'm giving the live lecture so I can have people questions. And also, a lot of students, enjoy it. I have a handful of students every semester who they attend live, every week on and usually it's been like Tuesday or Wednesday evenings. I try to get it early in the week, recorded so anybody can watch it. If I do record a live session, you have the option of later in the week either watching a recording of that live session that was recorded this semester, or you can still watch the recording that was recorded in previous semesters. Again, like I said, I'm not changing any of these lectures so much that the version that you see matters. It's just the newer they are, the little bit more cleaned up they tend to be. Okay, so if I send out an announcement, okay, on Wednesday at 6 p.m., I'm going to record a live lecture, then you click on this virtual classroom. There will be a link over here, which again, I'm not sure exactly what it's going to look like this semester. You click on it, and then we're all in a chat room, video chat, hanging out. Normally, I turn off the students' microphones and webcams so I don't accidentally hear, or everybody doesn't accidentally hear or see them. And also in Collaborate, the experience using microphones and webcams was just god awful. So maybe that'll change. I mean, what it should be, right, is we should all be able to sit down at our computers at home and the screen looks exactly like we were in a classroom. We can all see the PowerPoint slide and we have like 30 little faces down there where everybody can see each other on the webcam, and you can control, turn it on, turn it off if you want. I can call on people and they can talk, and it's a pleasant experience. We're not there yet. Yeah, it's 2015. We have the capabilities. This is like we're building the $6 million man or something. But internet speeds stink. The software was garbage so far. I think Citrix is going to be a little bit better. The GoToTraining is going to be a little bit better. But I don't know. Sometimes you have to wait for the technology to get through the red tape. Okay. Discussion boards. There's three. If you want to discuss general class thing, I'm having technical problems, or is anybody else having trouble playing this video, or hey, what do you guys think of that last lecture? Or I really think we should buy Dr. Linville a gift this semester. What do you think he would like? Any general class discussion like that can take place here. Later, you're going to have an assignment that's called assignment project, and you need to find a partner. That's difficult online. And I'll tell you beforehand, if you're in a weird situation where working with a partner is going to be impossible for you, I have let people work on their own for this project. So that's the place where everybody, I need a partner. Oh, here's my email address. And students are like posting their phone numbers and stuff like that, which may not be the best idea to do, but it's a small class, so it's not terrible, I guess. And then finally, this discussion board relates to one of your assignments. So in the week of that assignment, the assignment's going to redirect you to this discussion board where you post and comment on other students' stuff. Okay, finally, for grades. This is nice, right? Well, I think it's nice. Okay, I'm not giving you a participation grade because what category we're under here? I think the assignments will populate here. The quizzes and exams will populate here. But you can find your score is out of this number of points. Okay, I can't. I'll try it again. But what I don't like about this is it gives you your percentage, which is not always correct, because if you don't take a quiz, as far as I'm concerned, it's a 0, but it's just throwing it out in the percentage. So I get emails from students, hey, I have a 78%. Is that a B? Okay, number one, that's annoying because no, 78% is not a B. And number two, you don't have a 78%. Okay, stop looking at, and I wish I could hide all this stuff. The grade scale's in the syllabus. It goes by the number of points you earn. So if you want to make a thermometer, like a charity thermometer, and stick it on your fridge, okay, and have your goal of how many points you want to earn and color in the lines throughout the semester, you can do that because you accumulate points and you need 90% of the points to get an A. You need 80% of the points, and all that's in the syllabus, okay? So that's grades. No extra credit. Don't send me hey, do you have any extra credit? No, these are the points that you can get. Just get as many as you can. And I don't, and it's 90, the point value is in the syllabus. So if it says 297 points for an A and you have 296, that means you have a B. Got it? Except sometimes I do bend the scale a point or two. All right. But you know, if you're a couple percentage points away, then that usually means you're like 10 real points away. So don't ask me about that or extra credit. Then I need to think of another assignment for you to do. And then I need to look at it. Oh man, nobody wins with extra credit. Except possibly the student who needs a couple points for a grade. But anyhow. Okay. Let me stop screen sharing. And we're back to me. Okay. Now is the point of which I watched this video and I realized that I forgot to turn my microphone on, or something else terrible has happened, and I do the whole thing again. But hopefully this works out okay. And if you guys have any questions about the course, you know, for a lot of online students, you're still around the UAB campus, feel free to stop in and see me this semester. I have my office hours, but I'm also there, you know, from usually this semester, probably like from 9:30 to 4:30 every day. And then, but I have a bunch of classes on Tuesday and Thursday, a little bit more open on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But stop and see me, send me an email. Email is the best way to contact me. Phone, I'm lousy with phones. So I'll just sort of warn you. But if you have technical problems and you need to demonstrate that you were having them, calling and leaving a voicemail is fine. That's good. I can see the voicemail when it was left, and I'm like, oh, okay, they didn't wake up on Tuesday and say, oh crap, I forgot to take the quiz, let me make something up. It's where they were having a problem Monday night and they tried to contact me. So either phone or email is fine for that. Because if you get thrown offline, then you can't send me an email, right? Okay. That's it. I'm going to go ahead and stop this. I hope everybody has a good semester. I hope everybody enjoys the lectures a little bit. Let me know if you have any questions. You're going to notice that I do have some of these lectures posted on YouTube, more for convenience, but they're older versions of them. So if you can, watch the MP4 versions that are on Canvas. All right, everybody, have a good one. Stay warm.